School of the Orixas. EKORISA Afro-Cientirat Pedagogy and Education. I love the Africa of my ancestrals and I'm proud to be Black 21st Century African Renaissance. Work carried out in compliance with Law 10,639/03, Afro-Brazilian and African Culture in Education. Ivan Poly OSUNFEM by ELEDUIBON. Pedagogy of the Orixas EKORIA Ivan D. A. Silva Poly OSUNFEM by ELEDUIBON. I dedicate this work to my late spiritual brother Ogum D. who was in Brazil between February and May 2015, my brother from the diaspora who initiated me in the study of the cult of Ifa in his quality as a Babalawo and son of the orbit of Osogbo in Nigeria. Spiritual leader, head of the Balabolka family. My dad spiritual. I dedicate it his constructions also at leaders traditional of rebirth African, as my dad family and Prince Serge Guzo, heir to the throne of Dahomey, who recognize me, so like mine work, like member and part of this rebirth. I cannot fail to mention in this dedication my thanks to Mother Stella Diaco Ko, Maria Stella in Azevedo Saints, 1925 to 2018, so as at your precursors matriarchs of the LX Opio of Fonte, Oba B. Mayanandha, Eugenia Ana dos Santos, 1869 to 1938, Hoxam New and Mother Senhora, Maria Babayana. Do Eshrito Santa, 1890 to 1967, and Edwintona Mother Mies Inha, Andina Valeria Pigmental, 1916 to 1975, all with their histories of true heroines in the defense of our traditional communities of African origin, as well as the values civilizing what one nation inherited from these traditions. In WINNICOTWIARNTs, Phenomena, Space Transitional and Space in Creation AS Methodologies Pedagogical. To understand the proposal of the methodology of creative spaces used here, it is necessary to understand the fundamentals that underlie it, from the perspective of three main authors, Nelson E. A. Silva 2010, Winnicott 1975 and Behrens 2007, who supervised the doctoral thesis of Nelson E. A. Silva, University Paris 13. According us explained Nelson gives Silva. Second, the theory psychoanalytic from objects transitional of Winnicott. In childhood we replace the presence and the affective bond with the mother by objects that take on the maternal role. The affective presence is projected in them and, according to this theory, we tend to reproduce this behavior, substituting the affective presence of childhood in life. Adult presences or objects with you which we developed some affinity, transforming they in objects transitional. From the concept of transitional object, Winnicott builds the concept of space transitional, within the set of conceptualization of transitional phenomena, which comes to be a space intermediary. Space or object symbolic, what become possible though establishment in relations to create new content and ideas. As we can understand from the conceptualization of the object that builds the transitional space, this process is not just cognitive, but adds also affective relational elements. Behrens 2007 in a second moment, transposes this concept of space transitional to the pedagogical context. According to Nelson E. A. Silva and David Alves 2005 for Behrens, space in creation aims enable to teacher a element strategic for what he can deal with diversity and otherness in the classroom or in the pedagogical space. Behrens directs this process to each student, their unique characteristics and skills. Behrens' objective in this transposition is to create the process through which students and teachers become subjects in construction gives culture. Nelson E. A. Silva 2010 adds to the work of Behrens, on the spaces of creation, the instrumentalization of this concept in the construction of an alternative methodology. He intends, of this way, transform the space of interaction between the agents of the pedagogical space into an instrument of assist in combat the social exclusion, at the process of construction joint gives culture. By applying, as working instruments, the methodology of creative spaces for the use of African culture, more specifically Afro-Brazilian myths in their pedagogy and orchies, our goal is that we can recreate the environment that we find in Ramakrishna Foundation with regard to the issue of identity and cultural affirmation. In the processes of learning, among them, the process of appropriation of the normative variant of the language. Also, from the workshops, we hope to recreate the environment experienced by the studies of Case of La Hire 1997 in the suburbs of French cities in school success in the media popular, the reasons for the improbable. In this way, prioritizing the use of Afro-Brazilian myths in their pedagogical function as a transitional object for black students and as a factor of approximation to alterity and the enrichment of the cultural repertoire for the other children. The transitional space is established. These actions, in turn, become a space for creation. Instead of inculcating the arbitrary cultural from gives class culturally dominant in lawsuit in apprenticeship, as the appropriation of language, we work on the process of identity and cultural affirmation of these individuals, from educational processes that bring them closer to their culture of origin. It was intended, therefore, to expand the symbolic universe of the participants, to the point that the appropriation from contents, as per example, give variant normative of tongue if become most easy in to be assimilated. Process what Evanor 2004 defines as education and emancipatory and no inculcator. For a better understanding of the above concepts, we worked, briefly, according to the theories from authors in question. For so much, it is required what let's explain in Winnicott concepts of transitionality theory, illusion, transitional objects, transitional space, game and world cultural, and, in Bierns, the space of creation. What is based on theory Winnicottian? The theory gives transitionalite. Sonia Bandai, in her work Transitions, explains, succinctly and in a didactic way, the concepts theory gives transitionality in Winnicott. Therefore, that author, jointly with that ideas exposed in the book Playing and Reality, by Winnicott himself 1975 form the basis of this job. According to Abadai 1998, Winnicott developed a theory that takes into account the space intermediary between the internal and external world, from the observation of the use of the first objects by babies. The researcher found that these objects are concrete and real. They are not, therefore, internal objects, but the relationship established by the child with them is full of subjectivity. The observation led Winnicott to postulate that these relationships are located in an intermediate zone between psychic and external reality, in addition to articulating absence and presence mothers. He named this area then as transitional space and, from that, referred to the objects as transitional objects and the whole experience that develops in this space as transitional phenomena. Abadai points out that, for Winnicott, this transition area has properties and makes it possible to follow the passage from subjectivity to the recognition of outer reality and the phenomena associates gives illusion and the creativity. In the words in Winnicott, development gives capacity in distinction in between and realities internal the objects internal, subjective and external the objects real. Concrete includes the nature of the object, the ability to recognize the object as not meet the object location, outside, inside, on the boundary, the ability to create, imagine, to produce the object, the type affectionate of relationship in object. I introduced the terms transitional objects and transitional phenomena to designate the intermediate area of experience between primary creative activity and the projection of what is already an intermediate state was introject between a baby's inability and its growing ability to recognize and accept reality. Winnicott, 1975, page 14-15, emphasis in the author. As described Abby 1998 referring to Winnicott, the transitionality it is gift up until evenness phenomena cultural, the leave of the superposition of areas transitional in several individuals, passing from internal phenomena to the external world of each individual, and the superposition of the transitional space of individuals in a group will have consequences for the cultural activities. Phenomena such as arts, creativity and play can be understood as resulting from the superposition of transitional spaces, situated beyond both the interior spaces individuals, as well as reality external concrete. According to Abadai, for Winnicott, creativity and its unfolding in experiences cultural, begins in the baby-mother relationship. If, according to Winnicott's language 1975, page 25-27 the mother is good enough, that is, if she is not intrusive or absent, but if she allows their absences make the baby establish a bond with other objects that replace it, transitional space is created. This space, in turn, is replaced and undergoes transformations throughout the life of individuals. These first objects are abandoned and their function gains a broader dimension, reaching other areas of individuals' lives. The transitional object loses meaning because the transitional phenomena became diffuse, spread throughout the territory intermediary in between the reality psychic internal and world external, such as got that per two people in common, that is, throughout the cultural field. Winnicott, 1975, page 19, quotation marks from the author. Shabby 1998. Also remember what? At the model in Winnicott, space transitional in between worlds internal and external if keeps during all the life. This is an undisputed area. No claims are made except that it exists as a resting place for the individual engaged in the perpetual task to keep inner and outer realities separate, yet interrelated. Winnicott, 1975, page 15. Go process from phenomena transitional starts at the what Winnicott 1975, page 26 to 27. Flame in alternation between illusion and disillusionment. That is, the presence and absence of the mother create this game that, in turn, create an illusion that the mother is part gives child. And when the child comes across with reality, disillusionment takes place. This game allows the child to maintain their integrity psychic and, through objects, the illusion of the reunion with the mother. In this way, the transitional processes that precede the human capacity to immerse in the universe of symbols and the opening in transitional phenomena for cultural phenomena. The Badai 1998 explains the process saying that, in the alternation between illusion and disillusionment, a kind of bridge between the exterior and the interior that guarantees the preservation of the integrity of the self and of the illusion of the encounter with the mother, evoked from the perception, but in a similar way to the hallucination, what foreshadows the capacity in used symbols and phenomena cultural, the illusion. To consolidate the understanding of transitional phenomena, one must first understand what the concept of illusion is, as Winnicott 1975, page 25 explains that, referring to Freud, he places this fact as the transition from dependence to independence, as the ticket from scratch in pleasure to the reality. The area intermediate. It is the area granted to the baby, between the primary creativity and the perception objective based at the test of reality. Winnicott, 1975, page 26. Sonia Abbey 1998 comment what? Second Winnicott, for it tolerate the breach in between fantasy and reality, without falling into disillusionment. The illusion is created, which is nothing more than this intermediate area of human experience in which both the outer and the inner world participate. This illusion it is also the omnipotence of the child who thinks that the mother's breast, for example, comes to him for your own will, and not by maternal impulse. The mother's adaptation to the baby's needs gives the baby the illusion that there is a reality. Correspondingly your own capacity in create. Winnicott, 1975, page 27. Still second Winnicott. Drinks raisin of control omnipotent. 4 control for the manipulation material, physical. Winnicott, 1975, page 23. Sonia Badai 1998 comments that, in order to give up this omnipotence, the baby needs to be created transitional space, understood as the area between inside and outside, through which the experience and for which are used known objects as transitional objects. As time passes, the mother adapts less and less completely, according to the baby's growing ability to deal with the experience of frustration, and develop the ability to experience a relationship with external reality or form. One conception of this reality. Winnicott, 1975, page 25 to 26. For Winnicott, illusion marks all and any subjective action in adult life. This work of acceptance of reality is a task that takes place throughout an individual's life, and what maintains the balance between internal and external realities is precisely the illusion, the intermediate area at which if merge phenomena transitional, the first human experience at the scope of illusion. Thus, from the concept of illusion, Winnicott 1975, page 16 to 19 develops the concept of objects transitional. These objects are initially concrete, like a pillow or blanket. Children, for example, and become precursors and models of the cultural objects that will be used in adult life. They become the relationships we establish with other individuals, such as friendship, or also a song or any other experience cultural, since what there is the individual recovery from the experience of illusion, and which in adult life result in the formation of the universe symbolic from individuals, slopes religious and philosophical, likes artistic and all the capacity in handle and process the symbols. Winnicott also examined as if from the sharing gives illusion. 2. If overlap, individual transitional spaces give rise to cultural and group phenomena. The experience of individual illusion can be shared only from the individual's capacity for illusion, and belief gives superposition of these spaces transitional individual. It is gives substance of illusion, that which, in adult life, is inherent in art and religion. We can gather and form a group based on the similarity of our experiences. Illusory. This is a natural root of the grouping among human beings. Winnicott, 1975, page 15. Object transitional. According to Winnicott, the transitional object arises from the maternal absence for a time, beyond what is tolerable for the baby to use his own psychic resources to deal with this absence. In this way, an intermediate space arises between the baby and the mother that allows him to seek support in objects that replace the maternal presence, at least temporarily. These objects are known as transitional and, in early childhood, can range from a toy, as a teddy bear, a pillow or one pacifier, what console him that absence gives mother. At some point of development, the baby, in a certain environment provided by the mother, is able to conceive the idea of something that would. What it originates gives voltage instinctual. Winnicott, 1975, page 27. Sonia Badai 1998 highlights the fact in what the need in a resource external in support comes up when the time away from the mother becomes too long for the baby with its own resources without despair. By offering the resource, the mother allows the baby finds, in the space between them, an object that supports him on the path towards satisfaction. This is an object transitional, something that represents another thing, in symbolic form and subjective. In this way, the objects used in this transitory and intermediate space have the function of start the creation of the psychic field that accepts and works with the existence of symbols, developing the ability to create and work the symbolic universe. According to Winnicott, this transitional object is a precursor of the symbol, being simultaneously part of the baby and part of the mother, that initiates the trajectory in this process of creation of the symbolization processes. As stated by the author, it is about the base of object transitional at childhood what it builds so thought symbolic at life adult. This object is first symbol with which child if from to add life and what will serve. In model for all and any creation in lawsuit in symbolization, when symbolism is employed, the baby is already clearly distinguishing between fantasy and fact, between primary creativity and perception. But I believe there is used for a term designating the root symbolism that describes the baby's journey from birth, purely subjective to objectivity, and it seems to me that the transitional object is what we realized of that journey. Winnicott, 1975, page 19. Being the precursor model of the entire symbolization process, both the object and the transitional phenomenon does not occur only at a given stage, but throughout the entire life. Inaugurate, for your turn, no access to the likes cultural already what of transfer in a single object tangible for a diversity of abstract objects, with an unparalleled diversity. For Winnicott, the object destination transitional is to be gradually discarded, so that, over the years, it becomes not so much forgotten, but relegated to limbo. It loses its meaning, and this is due to the fact that the transitional phenomena spread throughout the cultural field. My theme if expands to play, artistic creativity and appreciation, religious feeling, to live imaginative and to job scientific creator. Winnicott, 1975, page 18 to 19, 30.